What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, part 5, number 5. 1 week later from number 4, a little consistent, more consistent. I got a checklist behind us. Let's check this out. So today, we've done the assemble of the turbo. We painted the manifold. We installed the turbo with the manifold. We're gonna finish to install the coolant and oil line. So we'll do that. We'll do the downpipe. We'll reinstall the oil pan, reinstall the valve cover, install the intercooler piping. Will I mount this intercooler bracket? Yes, I'll try my best right here. So hopefully we're gonna get all these done today, which is awesome. So let's start off where we last left off. We're gonna put those little inner coolant line, the adapter. I picked one up finally. I set up 5 times the other video. Let's put that on, get all the coolant lines done, feel confident with that, and then move on to putting the oil pan and the oil line. Let's do that right now. Okay, coolant lines. There you go, connected. You guys can see that? Yeah, very simple. So we cut right in there in the last video and then connected those. We did the adapters and then the 4 hose clamps on there that are 8mm, tighten those down. The coolant line is now secured. We need to move down to the feed side, right there, that little of the turbo. I'm not sure if I need to put the feed side on first before I put the oil pan back on. But the drain side, I obviously have to put the oil pan back on. So let's go ahead, connect the feed side, make sure everything's tight, and loop that down and around. Next thing we're gonna do is use these for the coolant for this line here to connect this to the oil pressure sensor. And we're gonna tap into that so that the oil, it's sending pressure from there, it'll pressurize the turbo. So we'll run that line first. Let me show you guys how to put this adapter on. There is the oil pressure sensor. We're gonna tap into that to get some oil. So what you'll do is unclick it, and then I think that's a 22, and we'll remove that off. I'll show you. Oil pressure sensor, it is actually a 24mm. Now that we have that off, we're able to connect it in here so we can get an oil line into this. Okay, official checkbox number 1, completed, guys, right there. So it goes in, there's an adapter that goes into the OEM mounting spot for the splitter. Then the splitter mates to that. Then then that goes into the OEM pressure sensor right there. There's an adapter here for the oil feed line connects, and then tighten these all down. This should be good. I don't think there's too much pressure. Do not over tighten this or strip this. It'll be a nightmare. So you don't want to do that. This is a pressure feed line. If it starts to leak, come back, just tighten it up a little bit. You can also use plumber's tape too to make sure that there's no feed line leaks, but we should be good. So coolant, as I'm pumping the coolant line here, you can see it's actually moving over there. That's cool. Coolant and oil lines complete. Checkbox number 1, sort of. I just need to do the oil pan return into the oil pan here, and we're good, which is huge progress. Before we move on, actually let's do that next. We'll do the oil pan, put that all in, and then we'll do the downpipe. Nah, we'll do the downpipe first. Let's do the downpipe. Okay, great news. So I'm gonna actually do this right now. This is awesome. Right here. Done. Check that out. Done. Awesome. So, that being said, I'm gonna show you guys underneath the Toyota Celica GTS 2004 Tsunami Edition. Right here. Oops, sorry guys, sorry. So that's the oil feed line. All I need to do is put a oil filter and the pan back on. Ta-da! The downpipe is officially on. 12mm, 4 with the stud, with the washer. Make sure you do not forget that gasket between there. And it runs out right there. My fingerprints are all over everything. There's the O2, we'll put that in right now. And there is a second O2 that I did cut off, we'll put maybe on the other side. One of the things though I do recommend is we're gonna zip tie. You can't have a race car with a zip tie. Pull away from these coolant lines, away from the downpipe. It does get very hot. 12mm and 1 hidden 10mm up there. Recommendation, you must have open-ended crescent wrenches before you attempt this. You need pretty much a 10 or an 8 through a 20 in open-ended crescent wrenches. Actually an 8 through a 24 to be honest. So you do need a nice set to do this. We haven't put the air filter on, but we're ready to clean the rest of this right here, this gasket, and put the gasket back on, put the oil, and connect that. So let's do that now. Okay, we are ready to reinstall. I'm doing the OEM oil pan. Moroso is really good. It's what I had on the LOTUS ELISE turbo. The reason why is there's a baffle. So, and all baffle means is there's another piece of metal here, so it kind of like oil goes this way, and then down into the lower pan. This is, so it's keeping oil higher in here. This is just, everything just falls down here. It's fine. I'm not gonna be tracking this car. Maybe in a quarter mile, but not in a circuit. So I'm gonna wipe it down one more time, and then I got gasket maker, and it makes it in 90 minutes. It's right here. I'm actually warming it up. It's pretty cold in my garage. I'm gonna get this real warm. And then we'll put this back on, and look, we'll be down here. You must, let me tell you guys real quick here. Yeah, two things. One, you must remove the valve cover. It doesn't say it on the instructions, but it makes your life so much easier. It's very tight. The 2ZZ is larger than the 1ZZ. If you have a 1ZZ, you don't need to remove the plastic valve cover, but the metal one on the 2ZZ, definitely remove it. And then two, the hardest part of the entire process is going to be removing the exhaust manifold and reinstalling the turbo. Once you do that, you're kind of like in this happy area like I am right now. This is a much easier video. That last video on part 4, most difficult video either, like total. This is just fun. This is like buttoning up stuff. It's simple, it's understandable. The other ones are just frustrating because it's such a small, tight fit. But that being said, let's put the oil pan back on. We'll mark that off, and then we will, I'm gonna reinstall the lower cross member, and then we'll install the valve cover. Oh my gosh, we'll have a sealed engine again. Wow. And then we'll do the intercooler on this video as well. Okay, gasket maker, warm, the right stuff. It's pretty expensive. I remember that stuff being like $3 or $4, $12. This is not gasket maker. This is just oil resistant, but it's not meant for the ultra black. It's not meant for the oil pan. The right stuff, this is meant for oil pan. So I don't know if that one doesn't work and this one does work. I don't know what the difference, but we'll use that stuff. This is the right stuff. So let me go ahead and open that. We're gonna put a bead around here, nice thick right here, put it around the whole thing, and then put it on. Okay, just like that, one nice bead. That should be good. All right, let's go reinstall it. More progress. Oil pan, OEM reinstalled. It is so, I didn't even count, but you remember last time we counted, there's so many 10 millimeters. Now I need an oil filter, and then to reinstall the front motor mount with the cross member. Okay, we're moving actually up top now. A couple things. I did paint this crash bar. It looks so much better. I did high temp, no, not high temp, just enamel gloss black, won't chip. Even though it's hidden behind the bumper, it still looks way better. It was gray before. We're gonna reinstall the OEM valve cover. Let's do that now. All right, guys. Did you notice it? Ooh, first piping. So I am gonna button down the valve cover. Those are all the bolts right there. So we'll start doing that. We'll have the valve cover bolted down, and then we will start the routing of the intercooler piping. So that's pipe number 1. These are 11 millimeters on these little clamps, which sucks. I wish they were 10. That's okay. It is what it is. They're nice clamps, but they're off size. They're probably metric. So yeah, look at that. Oh, that's so cool. How awesome is that? We're making huge progress. Okay, we've made huge progress. I've actually put the valve cover back on. All the 10 millimeters are tight. We are not going to put the coil packs in and tighten them because we're going to want to crank the 2ZZ without it firing, because we're going to get the oil circulating through the turbo, through the oil, since we haven't put oil in, or just through the engine again since we drained all the oil out before we fire up the engine. Same thing, it'll move the water pump too, which it'll circulate the coolant. What we need to do is unclick this right here. This is going to be the AC line, and we're gonna pull this off, this little plastic guy, because we're gonna push that down a little bit, and we're gonna start mounting. Let me grab a light real quick for you all. Grab a light over here. we are going to start mounting the turbo. So down there, you're gonna see a 11 millimeter with the coupler, and then we're gonna run up, see that? We're gonna run up here the charge pipe right through here, right? This little area. Okay, here's a prime example of why it's difficult to turbo the Celica. There's a turbo, that's the, oh, I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, I'm trying to tighten down that hose clamp that comes right off the turbo, off of this charge pipe right there. Look at this, look how long this contraption I have. So socket, or wrench, extender, adapter, extender into 11 millimeter to do righty-tighty. So I'm clamping it down. Again, I'm not gonna do crazy amount of boost. Hoping like 7-8 pounds. So we'll tighten that down and then we'll grab the next clamp. Okay, we're working our way around. So off the turbo inlet, past the valve cover. I don't have both clamps on, I'm just test fitting. Down past the alternator. You do have to unhook the AC line. You can still run AC, you just gotta move it a little bit. Past here, I'm gonna rotate that because it looks like it's gonna be touching the serpentine belt. So we're gonna rotate that clamp. I do have a Mishimoto radiator, which I wish I didn't. I do want it, but I wish. It's a very tight fit. It's on the inside. We're currently going on the inside of the hose. You guys see that down there? And then I'm gonna give you a nice play-by-play. And then connected down here, I don't have the clamp on yet, but you can see there. And then it comes out here. Now we're gonna grab the intercooler. Before we get the intercooler though, let's do the intake side. Also in this video, here's a part number. Subaru Genuine. This is an STI WRX 2004 Blauby, I think. Mass airflow sensor. It's good, it's brand new, it's OEM, it's good for the Turbo Celica. So I definitely recommend grabbing one of these. Otherwise you might max out the OEM one. Okay, you guys are gonna start to get excited. That's it. So we're using the jack to hold it up there. No clamps on yet. There's a Forge BOV. It's a good sounding BOV. Fast and the Furious, definitely, for sure. I like Turbo Smart, that's my favorite. We're missing the one pipe right here. So from there to there, it is right here. This is a hard fit. It's always been a hard fit. It goes like that. We're gonna wiggle that on in there now. So I definitely recommend to continue to use a jack. You're gonna wanna jack it up. You're gonna wanna try to your best to get this centered. And then I did paint my brackets black right here. These are my two brackets that we'll use. And they will mount like that right here. And then the back up there. So we're gonna have to go up a little bit higher to get these level. And I'll show you guys how to mount these brackets to hold up the intercooler. Okay, so we're working on the bracket. As you can see right here, that's the one I painted black. I do have one tap screw that I've tapped in there to hold it up. Allowing this one, I've come over and I'm starting to do the bracket on the actual intercooler. I drilled it with, you can see all the dust down there, a 9/32 I think is what I drilled it with, the drill bit there. You will have to do this, they do not come pre-drilled. Don't be afraid of this part, you might be scared. It's super simple, just drill it, match it, and then we'll go ahead and put the remainder of the hardware on. Okay, we've made so much progress. Let's go over it. Let's go all over part 5, how we did. First off, let's look at the board. So we've assembled the turbo to high paint temp, install the coolant lines, the oil lines. We did the manifold, the downpipe, reinstall the oil pan, reinstall the valve cover, install the intercooler piping, mount intercooler brackets. We've done everything except for install the breather vent because I don't even have one. I think I might have one actually, but I need to install that. Install the AEM FIC, that's next video with the vacuum lines, we'll do that. I gotta get my axle. I did order a new axle. I got rid of my OEM one and I'm doing an aftermarket one. But the turbo is installed. All the hard stuff is done. Literally the actual parts are done. The injectors are on, the intercooler is on, the piping is on, the manifold's on, the turbo's on, the downplate's on, everything's on. So let's look at it. So I'll walk you guys along how we gotta do this to make sure you guys totally understand because this is a part by part. So we'll start out, we mounted the turbo. You can see, let me grab the oil, you can see down there. Right there. Okay, so it comes off there. I believe this is really small 2-inch piping, but it'll have the 2.5 inch, I think it's 2.5 inch. The 2.5 inch clamps, so 2 of those right off the turbo. There's another set of turbokits.com right there on that. That charge pipe follows down. It goes past the MWR, alternator pulley, and water pump pulley down. It fits in there very tightly. It's between my Mishimoto radiator and the hose, the heater hose right there. You guys see that? So it goes and tucks down there. Again, 2.5 or 2 inch, I'm not sure which one, I should have measured. Past there, and then it comes into the part where it goes to, I think 3 inch right here, where the intercooler is. It connects, and there's hose clamps right there. And you can see there's an adapter. You see that? Smaller to 3 inch, I think that might be 3 inch, that might be 2.5. And then into the big turbokits.com intercooler with the brackets that we painted and then we mounted. Those are 10mm brackets. There is a 10mm washer and nut behind it. I can adjust this a little bit so it's more straight, but it does kind of go down and then around, which I'm okay with it. Believe it or not, the Evo does that too. So down and around. Then back up here is the Forge BOV. You can change that at any time to any BOV that you want. You guys can see I did paint the crash bar. It looks really good. And we'll run a line there. And then I did the 2 Phillip heads or flat heads clamps. Stuttering. So this follows back up here. Again, there's 2 more clamps right there. See those? I think there's 8 of those. There's a lot of clamps. 8 of those clamps. There's so many couplers. Then it goes into the STI mass airflow sensor right there. And then finally it goes into the throttle body into the 2ZZ. That's how we're gonna make all the boost and power right there. We're gonna wrap up this video. Great video, pretty long, pretty detailed. This should be a part by part. You know, if you have any questions, comment below. I'll help you. I'll leave this video up forever. You guys come back and see it. I usually respond pretty much to all the comments. That being said, all we need to do is the vacuum lines, the axle, which will be a little bit of labor, oil and oil filter, and the AEM. We're good to start it. So we'll do probably one more tightening everything up video, part 6, I think, yeah, part 6. And then we'll start part 7 with the first start. Just a little review of all this. Set along, if you're gonna try to rush this, I did not rush this. Yes, I've been working on this for like months, just because I don't want to take my time with it. You could probably have it all done in 2 weekends, is what I would say. One full week at a shop. It might take them a full week to do it, but it's pretty. It's different. I like them. I've done it before a couple times. The only thing that is hard on this car is, again, has nothing to do. TurboKits did an amazing job building this. It's just the exhaust is right up against the firewall. That's the only issue here. Nothing else. Other than that, I mean, that's all. It's all good. It's all good. That's the only issue. Like on this car, the turbo is right here. On my Evo X, my Evo 10, my old X Evo, I miss it, but my Evo 10, the turbo was right here. I think that the turbos on the front side or the exhaust manifold's much easier. Same thing is I think with the MR2s, they have it, the original MR2s, they have it backwards. They should flip it around. It's easier when the exhaust side, personally, I think is, especially if it's an NA car, is very visible because you just pull that off and then slap a turbo on. If not, the supercharger would be the easier route, definitely. Supercharger's super easy on this car. Expensive, but super easy. Well, this is pretty expensive too, but you don't get the cool sounds. Well, I like the turbo over the supercharger. Make sure to like, subscribe, come back for part number 6, the final kind of putting the whole thing together, and part 7, we'll start it. Part 8, we'll drive it. And then part 9 and 10, of course, we're gonna be doing some, I do wanna take it to the quarter mile, and then I do wanna get it dynoed, and then have it dyno tuned. And I might stay with the FIC, or I might go with a different tune, we'll see. Like, subscribe, swingbymitshow.com. See you guys in the next video.